Hey there, good morning. How are you today? I hope everything's well. So, today we have another lesson. Today's lesson is lesson 65, and this is what it says. My only function is the one God gave me. The idea for today reaffirms your commitment to salvation. It also reminds you that you have no function other than that. Both these thoughts are obviously necessary for a total commitment. Salvation cannot be the only purpose you hold while you still cherish others. The full acceptance of salvation as your only function necessarily entails two phases: the recognition of salvation as your only function, and the relinquishing of all the other goals you have invented for yourself. This is the only way in which you can take your rightful place among the savers of the world. This is the only way in which you can say and mean, my only function is the one God gave me. That is the only way in which you can find peace of mind. Today and for a number of days to follow, set aside 10 to 15 minutes for a more sustained practice period in which you try to understand and accept what the idea for the day really means. Today's idea offers you escape from all your perceived difficulties. It places a key to the door of peace, which you have closed upon yourself, in your own hands. It gives you the answer to all the searching you have done since time began. Try, if possible, to undertake the daily extended practice periods at approximately the same time each day. Try also to determine this time in advance, and then adhere to it as closely as possible. The purpose of this is to arrange your day so that you have set apart the time for God, as well as for all the trivial purposes and goals you will pursue. This is part of the long-range disciplinary training your mind needs, so that the Holy Spirit can use it consistently for the purpose He shares with you. For the longest practice period, begin by reviewing the idea for the day. Then close your eyes, repeat the idea to yourself once again, and watch your mind carefully to catch whatever thoughts cross it. At first, make no attempt to concentrate on only thoughts related to the idea for the day. Rather, try to uncover each thought that arises to interfere with it. Note each one as it comes to you, with as little involvement or concern as possible, dismissing each one by telling yourself, this thought reflects a goal that is preventing me from accepting my only function. After a while, interfering thoughts will become harder to find. Try, however, to continue a minute or so longer, attempting to catch a few of the idle thoughts that escaped your attention before, but do not strain or make undue effort in doing this. Then tell yourself, on this clean slate, my true function be written for me. On this clean slate, let my true function be written for me. You need not use these exact words, but try to get the sense of being willing to have your illusions of purpose be replaced by truth. Finally, repeat the idea for today once more and devote the rest of the practice period to trying to focus on its importance to you. The relief its acceptance will bring you by resolving your conflicts once and for all, and the extent to which you really want salvation in spite of your own foolish ideas to the contrary. In the shorter practice periods, which should be undertaken at least once an hour, use this form in applying today's idea. My only function is the one God gave me. I want no other, and I have no other. Sometimes close your eyes as you practice this, and sometimes keep them open, and look about you. It is what you see now that will have totally changed when you accept today's idea completely. Okay, there's a lot to unpack here today. So let's take a look at it, little by little. So my only function is the one God gave me. So we have to understand, as from previous lessons, our only function was forgiveness and to be the light of the world. So, and to try to get connected to God and be centered so that we could be the light for others, right? So, with the idea today, what it's telling us is that is our only function. So all the other trivial things we do on a daily basis, which to us don't seem trivial at all, going to work, having relationships with our family members, our loved ones, friends, all the tasks that we do on a daily basis that we consider those being our lives. Those are our human experiences, but it's not really our true function that was intended for us. Our true function is what the Course says, which is to be pure, whole, and complete, and loving and connecting with others in a way where we can allow them to connect to God, just as we are trying to. And how do we do that? Through forgiveness and through being the light of the world. So, in today's lesson is basically reaffirming that idea that we have to remember that that's actually what we want. Our true spirits, our true selves want that. They want to be connected to God. They want to be at peace and at one with everyone, and to have only love be present in this world. But because we are so focused on our daily lives and what we have in our thoughts is the priority, which is living, going to work, and having experiences with our loved ones, and becoming successful, or having experiences in this world of just everything this world has to offer, which are just illusions, but for us they mean so much, right? We want to experience, we want to have all these wonderful new experiences on a daily basis, or have these wonderful connections with people that we meet, and those connections are wonderful, those connections are good, but those connections should be with the purpose of getting closer to God, getting closer to what we all truly want, which is to be at peace and to be at love, in love with life and with just the experience as a whole. And we get stuck in our heads, and more than anything, we are more focused on what this world has to give us instead of what we can give to this world and what we can give to others. So, it's very specific. The Course is telling us that is our only function, and when we stray aside from that function and think it's something else, then that's when things go wrong, because we are no longer doing God's work, we're doing our work, we're doing what we want, we're doing what we think is right, and that's where we come across difficulties, because who are we to know what we're supposed to do? We want to force what we want, and sometimes that does not work. Most of the times that does not work. So it's hard to understand that sometimes, because you're in your mind constantly. You're in your mind, and you gotta focus and get out of it sometimes. So what the Course is trying to help you do is do that, and it's giving you lessons, and it's giving you tasks to do. So today's task is just that. It's asking you to set aside for the next few days. Most of the lessons will be very similar, in the sense that they will ask you to do a practice period for an extended amount of time at a specific day and time of the day that you choose. You make that choice, and then throughout the day, on an hourly basis, reaffirm that thought. So it's a sort of training your mind to focus more on God and not so much on the illusions that are this human experience is giving us. So today's lesson is obviously my only function is the one God gave me, and the first practice period should be one where it specifically says here, you take about 15 minutes out of your day to think on that thought, and just close your eyes and think of the thought. And today's thought is, my only function is the one that God gave me. And then let thoughts run through your mind, whatever comes into your mind. So like if I'm to close my eyes right now, and as I start seeing these thoughts of, oh, this happened to me, or this, I need to do this, I need to do that. All those thoughts, when they start coming in, that are in no way related to the thought that you were thinking, which is this, the only function is the one that God gave me. That's when you say to yourself, this thought reflects a goal that is preventing me from accepting my only function. So whatever thought comes in that doesn't coincide with our thought for the day, you say, this thought reflects a goal that is preventing me from accepting my only function. And you do that for about 15 minutes until you can't think of thoughts anymore. And it will happen. At some point your mind will kind of become blank. And if it doesn't, that's okay. But you continue to follow the lesson and say, this thought reflects a goal that is preventing me from accepting my only function. So you do one practice period like that in your choosing, whatever time of the day you choose. And then throughout the day, what I usually do, or I have done in the past, and what I'm going to do this time also, is that we all have cell phones, or most of us do, but you set yourself a timer, for an hour, because that's what it is asking you here for on an hourly basis. Try to remember that thought, or repeat that thought to yourself and reflect on it for a few, what is it saying here? A minute or so. So a minute an hour, not too hard to do. So do your best. If you miss an hour, that's okay. Do your best the next hour, and just keep trying throughout the day on an hourly basis to focus and reflect on a thought. And once you are able to focus on that thought, you repeat it to yourself. My only function is the one God gave me. I want no other, and I have no other. Okay? And like I said, those is for the shorter practice periods, which is on an hour, put a timer, however you like it, however you want to do it. Don't feel that you are doing anything wrong if you miss an hour. Okay? This is at your pace. This is however you want to advance. That's up to you. If you want to be very diligent like me, put a timer on your cell phone for an hour. And when it goes off, stop whatever you're doing, reflect on that thought for a minute, 60 seconds, and then continue on with your day. Now, it also says here, when you are able to remove any of those thoughts that are not, that do not coincide with today's thought, say to yourself, on this clean slate, my true function be written for me. So basically, what you're telling God is that now that you had the opportunity, or you were able to take all those other thoughts out of your mind, you're telling God to make this a new slate for you. Since it's right now it's clean, make it a new slate so you can put in the correct thoughts in there. So you're asking for help from God to help you understand what your true function is, because sometimes we need that extra help. Okay? So that was the lesson for today, lesson 65. I hope you attempt it. I know it's very difficult, especially since it's an hourly thing and a whole day thing, but do your best. Try to set up that specific time of day that you have the time for the longer practice period, and then set the timer for the 1 hour remembrance of the thought. And don't worry if you don't accomplish every single hour. Just do your best. and it's going to help you. It's going to help you get a little bit closer to God, and it's going to help you be aware of your thoughts. And that's the most important thing right there. It's getting a handle and training your mind to be aware of your own thoughts, which sometimes we are oblivious to, and we think that they're just coming in. But you could actually control them. So thank you for joining me in my journey, and I appreciate all of you. I love all of you, and take care and have a wonderful day.